cut. Big cut on the forehead of Gonzales. Bent over right into that knee, caught him right on the forehead, right on that vessel.
2022 featherweight champion Brennan Loughnane, one of the best strikers in the sport. Fast, crisp, lead hand. No matter what stance he's fighting out of, he does fight out of both stances, and we know how dangerous his striking game is, but this setup for this rear knee, and you've seen this fight, you know the damage that this knee causes, the big cut on the forehead, etc, etc. What I'm going to show you is how that came about in this fight, because the setup was really quite phenomenal. Now, we know Brennan Loughnane got a good jab, and he's very good at just kind of firing it out there, just putting it in front of his opponent's face and seeing what they do. This is the first time when he thinks about throwing the knee, and you can see how he moves into range. He's going to kind of pump a jab, and he's expecting his opponent to level change. He's thinking that as soon as he steps into range here, because you can also see it on the vision look, right? You can see Gonzales, he's looking at the lower body. He's trying to get around this lead hand of Brennan Loughnane. So Loughnane's trying to sense what his choices are. How can I smoke out his decisions? What is he going to do? And as he throws this jab here, he sees him level change and he almost goes to throw the knee, but then changes his mind. And a few minutes later in the same fight, here we go. Feint, feint, knee. And then we see it from another angle, and look how excited he is. Look at that from the other angle. I mean, it couldn't have been more perfectly timed. It was almost as if Justin Gonzales knew that he had to headbutt the knee of Brennan Loughnane. That was his responsibility in this fight. That is not where he wanted to put his head, but Brennan Loughnane put his head there with that beautiful feint on the jab. Now, all of this happens in just a few seconds, and I'm going to show you these just a few seconds here because it's very easy to miss these feints. Now, when you're locked into this high pressure situation and the air feels thick and your opponent, you can almost smell the sweat on their skin, everything is a heightened sense. So what Brennan Loughnane is seeing from his opponent here, what is minute to us, is massive for Brennan Loughnane in this situation. So what we're going to see with this lead hand here, this lead hand is going to feint twice before he even thinks about throwing the knee. He's testing the reactions of his opponent. Watch this. And I'm going to step you through this because it is easy to miss these. Little pump with the lead hand, a little dip with the head. That's the first feint. Then we're going to get a slightly longer feint. The hand's going to go out, but he's not going to clench his hand. You can tell that he's not throwing a punch. What he's doing is he's trying to see what his opponent's going to do. And look what he's doing. He's dropping his head, he's blocking, and he's considering attacking the lower body. He wants that takedown. He wants this fight on the floor. And then almost straight away, Gonzales pivots just a tiny bit and Loughnane pumps that jab one more time, throws the lead hand out there. He knows Gonzales is going to put his head down and the knee is there to receive him as he level changes. And then watch this. This is the 4-second clip where all of that stuff happens, just so you can appreciate how fast this happens. There's one feint, there's two feints, there's three feints and a knee. It happens instantaneous. And with one knee, the whole complexion of the fight has changed and potentially the face of Gonzales for the rest of his career. A very, very dangerous setup and a beautiful read on an opponent to get him to move his head into the right position.
He switched the grip to this anaconda.
The anaconda from the top.
Magomed Umalatov in the first round.
Magomed Umalatov is one of the most dominant fighters in the welterweight division, and we've seen that all the way through his PFL career. Now we're going to pick this fight up against Brennan Ward in this half guard position. What I want to draw your attention to in this process, this is going to end in an anaconda choke. I'm sure you've seen this fight, you know the result of this fight, but the way that this transition plays out is beautiful. Umalatov allows his opponent to move on his terms. He tangles him up and he slows him down and he stays clamped onto things for just a little bit longer so he can force his opponent to slow down into positions where he can capitalize. I'll show you what I mean. So in this position here, right, he's just kind of generally annoying his opponent. He's got the forearm across the face, he's landing a couple of body shots, comes over to hit the head, just generally trying to irritate his opponent and trying to prompt him to move, which is exactly what Brennan Ward does. Right, so he's turned to his knees. Now, as Brennan Ward sits up, you're going to see Umalatov throw this left arm back just to get around the front of the face. This allows him to stay clamped onto his opponent. But at the same time as he's doing that, he's tangling this foot up. This is Brennan Ward's foot. As Brennan Ward is trying to turn, of course he's trying to get to a turtle position here. He's trying to get his knees to the canvas, but he can't do that until he gets this foot back. Umalatov is going to slow this process down to allow him to keep this control. So as he releases the foot, he's going to kick the leg clear, and then he's on the back of his opponent. Now at this point here, they're both pretty much facing the same direction, right? But in a moment, Umalatov is going to spin all the way around to the head end of his opponent and start attacking the neck. He's going to pivot, the left arm goes over, you can see the left arm change its position, it goes under the neck, and then hands come together. That's one hand over the other. That's a strong grip right into the armpit and the back of the shoulder of Brennan Ward. Now straight away, Ward's a veteran. He knows what's going on here. He knows he's in danger. So he's going to try and get to the other side of the guard as he feels Umalatov trying to pull him into this position. So as Umalatov sits down, you're going to see Brennan Ward try and rush around to try and get around the guard. And Umalatov is going to catch him with his butterfly hook and throw him back over. There's the butterfly hook. He's going to throw him back over into this position so he can keep chasing this anaconda. Throws him over. Brennan Ward lands on his side. Still in the palm-to-palm position as well. This is where this is going to change. He's going to go, hand-to-hand. He's going to go hand-to-hand. Then he's going to go hand to bicep. And then he's going to lock in this figure 4 position. You can now start to see Brennan Ward's getting a bit uncomfortable here. There's a lot of pressure on him in this position. He's feeling the squeeze on his neck. He's feeling the pressure on the back of his head. And that's where the tap is. But if we just for a moment look at the pressure in this position, we've got squeeze from the top, we've got squeeze from the bottom, and then we've got drive from the body as well. So 3 different directions are compressing into the neck and the shoulder of Brennan Ward. And the real danger here is this small space where the shoulder of Brennan Ward is now starting to meet his neck. It's starting to drive into the carotid artery and cut off his breathing, cut off his blood supply. And by Umalatov walking towards the hips of Brennan Ward, he's constantly keeping this squeeze, this motion in play. You can see he slowly walks towards the body of his opponent and Brennan Ward taps. He can no longer deal with this pressure. Here's the top position. Look, we see the kick over from the butterfly hook. There's the figure 4 position. And then Umalatov's going to